going to teach you how to make Pfeffernusse, which is a German biscuit, and they make it around the time of Christmas. So in here we have 4 cups of plain flour. This is brown sugar, and there's half a cup of brown sugar. Then we have white sugar, and there's 3/4 of a cup of white sugar. In here we have salt and pepper, half a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. In here we have 1.5 teaspoons of bicarb soda. In this bowl we have 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of cloves, 1 teaspoon of ginger, 1.5 teaspoons of cardamom, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and 3 teaspoons of aniseed. And in here, in this saucepan, we have 1/4 cup of honey, half a cup of molasses, and then 1/4 cup of margarine and 1/4 cup of shortening. So I'm just going to put this over here on medium heat, and I'm just going to stir it until it goes creamy. Now I'm just going to mix all the ingredients, all the dry ingredients, in their separate bowls, and then I'm going to put them all into the big bowl together. Now I'm mixing the salt and pepper. And I'm mixing all the spices together now. Okay, now I'm going to mix all the dry ingredients together. So I'm putting in all the separate little bowls into the big bowl of flour. And I'm just going to use a whisk because that's a bit easier than to just use a big spoon. I'm now going to set this aside to cool at room temperature before I can add the eggs, and I'll just crack them and beat them up now so that they're ready to go when the mixture's cooled. Okay, now I'm just going to add the eggs. And in the spare time, while I was waiting for this to cool, I just put all the ingredients away. So I'm just scraping the last bits in, and I'll just stir this around for a little bit. Okay, now I've just mixed the egg and the molasses together, and I'm whisking it. And now I'm just going to pour that mixture into the dry one. And I'm just going to whisk this together. And it smells very spicy and gingery, so that's a very nice smell. So this is what the dough is supposed to look like now, and it has to, I'll just wrap it up with Glad wrap, and then we'll sit it in the fridge for about 2 hours. Okay, it's been 2 hours now, and the dough has just come out of the fridge, and I'm just going to roll them up into small acorn-sized balls and put them at least 1 inch apart on the tray. Now we've rolled about 4 trays of these little biscuits, and I'll just put them in the oven to cook for about 10 to 15 minutes on 165 degrees Celsius. Now I'm just going to take the biscuits out and let them cool before we dust them with icing sugar. Okay, now we're just going to dust them with icing sugar and roll them over until they look like they've been thoroughly dipped in icing sugar. And just stick them on.
Just seeing if anyone's stealing the Pfeffernusse. Let's see. Aha! Rachel's stealing the Pfeffernusse.